In this video, I'm going to be talking about the 10 strongest monsters in Edison Format. And I know you're probably thinking, well, maybe Dark Arm Dragon will be on the list, Judgment Dragon, these sorts of cards, but no. I don't want to know anything about those cards because I'm talking about the strongest monsters. Monsters that could win the game by attacking over those cards. Because the cards in this list have a lot of attack, and that's all I'm really concerned about. The monsters in Edison Format that theoretically, although not probably, could have the highest attack without the help of spell or trap cards, so we don't need to get into any limiter removal shenanigans. How high do you think the highest attack monster on this list could be? 10,000? 20,000? I don't know. You will just have to wait and find out. Number 10, a card beloved by the Edison Format community, and honestly, all communities ever in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. You know we are talking about King of the Skull Servants. This card, with the card pool available in Edison Format, could potentially get up to 8,000 attack, which is nothing to bat an eye at. If your opponent's monster has 0 attack, you can win the game. You could win the game by attacking with it. Or if they don't have any monsters, that would probably be easier if they just didn't have any monsters at all. Number 9, the Wicked Eraser. This card does require a little bit of setup, but basically this card gains 1,000 attack for each card on your opponent's side of the field. So with 5 monster card zones and 5 spell and trap card zones, this card can get up to 10,000 attack. And at number 8 is a fan favorite, as in my favorite. I don't know actually if it's a fan favorite. No one really talks about this card, but Montage Dragon. With the card pool in Edison Format, there is only 3 level 12 monsters you can have in your hand. Yubel, the Ultimate Nightmare, and if you discard all 3 of those cards to summon Montage Dragon, he can sit at a clean 10,600 attack. At 10,600, you can attack over a Stardust Dragon for game. Now number 7 is a strange one because although it is theoretically possible, it is so unlikely to actually happen in a game, and it all involves a card called the Calculator. You see, the Calculator works in a very similar way to Montage Dragon. It gains attack based on level stars, 300 attack to be specific. Except this card does not gain attack by discarding the monsters from your hand. It cares about what monsters are on the field. So, if you have the Calculator and 4 level 12 monsters, you will have 50 level stars on the field, and your Calculator could get to 15,000 attack. Although, I can't really envision a scenario where you have the Calculator, 5-headed dragon, and 3 Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragons on the field, but I guess in some anime duel, it could happen, so 15,000 attack at number 7. Next up at number 6 is the Great Maju Garzett. You see, this card, when it is tribute summoned, it gains double the attack of the monster that you tributed. The catch is, the attack has to be original attack. This means that all the question mark monsters we've been talking about so far do not count, except there is one exception to the rule, King of the Skull Servants. For some Yu-Gi-Oh reason, King of the Skull Servants attack counts as its original attack. This means if you tribute summon Great Maju Garzett using an 8,000 attack King of the Skull Servants, this card will be at 16,000 attack. Now you're getting up pretty high. This card could win the game by attacking over your opponent's 8,000 attack Skull Servants. And at number 5, we have Chaos Necromancer. This card gains 300 attack for each monster card in your graveyard, and if you are playing a 60 card deck and you manage to get 59 monster cards in the graveyard, this card could theoretically reach 17,700 attack. I don't know how you would do that. It would normally be, with the cards needed to set it up, around 17,000 attack, which is still quite a lot. At number 4, we have a very similar card, another fan favorite, Gren Maju de Eiza. This card is very similar to Chaos Necromancer, except it gains 400 attack based on the amount of cards that are banished. So again, probably not going to happen, but theoretically, if you manage to banish 59 other cards from your deck, it would get up to 23,600 attack. At the number 3 spot, we have 3 monsters that basically do the exact same thing. These cards banish types of cards to summon themselves and then gain a certain amount of attack based on the amount of cards you banished. With Cyber Eltanin, it is 500 attack per light machine. For Evil Dragon Anata, it is 600 attack based on the number of reptiles you banished. And with Mega Rock Dragon, it is 700 attack based on the number of rocks. So Cyber Eltanin, if you manage to banish 59 light machines, could get up to 29,500 attack. Evil Dragon Ananta, if you manage to banish 59 reptiles, could get up to 35,400 attack. And Mega Rock Dragon could theoretically get up to 41,300 attack. Now, all of these are hypothetical, and more likely that using a card like Magical Merchant that mills your whole deck, you could potentially get about 1,000 or 2,000 less than what I've said. But still, each of these cards respectively earns their spot in this ranking because 40,000 attack is a lot of attack. And at number 2, we have a tie? Let me explain. The number 2 monsters with the highest attack in Edison Format are Exodius and Tyranno Infinity. Both of these cards gain 1,000 attack based on a certain thing. With Tyranno Infinity, he gains 1,000 based on the number of dinosaurs that are banished, and with Exodius, it gains 1,000 attack based on the number of normal monsters in your graveyard. Let's start with Exodius. So, if you have Magical Merchant set on the field, then you wait a turn, your opponent doesn't do anything to it for some reason. Next turn, you can summon the Exodius, flip over the Magical Merchant, and let's just say you have a deck full of normal monsters and a spell card is the bottom card of your deck. You could mill your entire deck, and let's just say for fun that the spell card is the Cheerful Coffin. If this all happens and everything works out correctly, your Exodius could get up to 57,000 attack because you'd have 57 normal monsters in your graveyard. Tyranno Infinity works in a very similar way, except swap the spell card for Survival Instinct, which will banish all the dinosaurs that you mill. Let's just say it happens to be the bottom card of your deck. You would need the Merchant, the Survival Instinct, and the Tyranno Infinity on the field, which leaves 3 cards less than your 60 card deck, resulting in a 57,000 attack Tyranno Infinity. I mean, 57,000 attack. What on earth could be stronger than that? Okay, I know the Wicked Avatar could be 100 attack stronger than any of the cards in this list, and I know Honest could make it, but come on, the power's got to come from within. It can't be based on the other card that, before we get to our number 1 strongest monster in Edison Format, I do have an honorable mention because this card does not have a cap, Raging Flame Sprite. This card, every time it attacks, it continues to gain attack damage. And theoretically, there's a few cards like this that gain an attack when they destroy opponent's monster by battle, or maybe by doing something. And if your opponent was playing an infinite life point deck for some reason, these cards could be the strongest monsters in Edison Format. But because it requires setup by your opponent, I've decided to not include them, except for in this honorable mention spot. And now, the moment you have all been waiting for, the strongest monster in Edison Format. You see, this card happens to be a 3-starred anime dragon monster used by Kaiba himself. The strongest monster in Edison Format is Spirit Ryu. I know.
I summon Spirit Ryu!
It reads, during your battle step, if this card battles, quick effect, you can discard one dragon monster to the graveyard. This card gains 1000 attack and defense until the end of the battle phase. And if you notice, there's no once per turn on any of that, and this is very useful. In fact, this is what Kaiba does in the anime.
He gains an extra 1000 attack points for each dragon I discard from my hand, and I have 2!
In the duel, he discards 2 dragon monsters to make the Spirit Ryu gain 2000 attack. But let's just say he discarded 58 dragon monsters. I mean, but you're probably thinking, how could he discard 58 dragon monsters? How could he do that? Well, it's actually not that hard. You just need to get very lucky. So let's say you're playing a deck of entirely dragon normal monsters, 1 copy of Spirit Ryu, and 1 copy of Heart of the Underdog. All you need to do is open the Spirit Ryu and Heart of the Underdog. That's all you need to do. And because every single other card in your deck is a dragon normal monster, if you activate Heart of the Underdog during your next draw phase, you will draw your entire deck. And thankfully, because Heart of the Underdog is optional, you will not draw yourself out of the game, and you can normal summon the Spirit Ryu, discard every card in your hand, 58 normal dragon monsters, and with the 1000 attack Spirit Ryu already has, you are looking at a 59,000 attack monster. 59,000 attack. Honestly, it's quite surprising because unlike the Exodius one and the Tyranno Infinity one, this one is very, very possible. You just need to get very lucky. And those are the top 10 strongest monsters in Edison Format. I normally do a series called Cursed Tech where I dive into strange bad cards like this, and if you want to see any of the cards from this video in a devoted episode, comment below which ones you'd like to see, and please don't let it be the calculator, because I don't know how I would do that. Maybe Dragon's Mirror. And I do want to say before I go, I tried my best to research this. I might have missed a few monsters. Some monsters might have had the potential to have more attack, but I just did my best. So that's gonna wrap it up. Let me know if you like this style of video, you know, the top 10 Watch Mojo style of video, because yeah, I will definitely do more of these. Also, look at my sweater.